Hi and welcome. Today I want to share with you our brand new high-grade photopolymer stamps. They are crystal clear with a sticky back and they come in 9 different designs that we already carry as rubber stamps. Just the clear stamps have extra stamps because they are a little bit bigger than the rubber sets. So the clear stamp sets are A5. And that gave me the option to add more images to each set. They are made in the UK and I'm really happy about the quality. They are super stable and thick and super sticky, which is great for using them with an acrylic block. And today I want to use some of them, of course, and I think I will maybe use the pencil marks and of course my favorite set, the mixed media marks. It has an extra stamp, that one with the writing, which is not on the rubber sheet. Here is the Carve Collection number 1, which has also an extra stamp. I think I will not use it today. Here are the sketchy birds. They also have an extra birdie. The rubber set comes only with 4 birds. And I've also added a lot of text stamps. And these are the mixed media borders and they are in a special packaging which I hopefully can have in the future. I have to see how much it is, and then I think the clear stamp sets will come with the backing sheet of paper and in this plastic bag, which is not to be thrown away. It's made to store the stamps. The borders are a mix of the grungy borders, they are fully in the set, and my favorites of the doodle borders. What I'm going to do today is I will also test different stamping inks with the clear stamps. A difference between rubber stamps and clear stamps is that the clear stamps are super sticky. Also, the image itself is sticky, which sometimes makes it a bit difficult to get a good stamp impression. That's easier with the rubber. What I prefer with the clear stamps is obviously that they are sticking on their own to the acrylic block and that I can see through them, so I see exactly where I'm stamping. Today I'm going to use StazOn, Archival Ink and the Versafine Clair. And I will stamp the main images that I want to use today to a sheet of watercolor paper, and I'm using the Canson XL because it's super smooth and that gives me the guarantee that the image will be good. I have re-inked all the ink pads so they are fresh and juicy. And I think that was a good decision because the StazOn print is pretty nice. I'm cleaning the stamp in between because I don't know if it can cause some reaction between the inks. I don't think, but maybe. So I just use a wet wipe and remove the leftover ink. I would recommend to always clean the stamps after you have used them with just water and a cloth. Now I'm using the Archival Ink, which is also fully re-inked. I give it a good press and I also always ink up my stamps very well. The Archival is not perfect. I don't know if you can see it on screen. It has a little bit light areas. Maybe that was because of the wetness from the cleaning. So maybe I will try it again with the Archival Ink later. Now I'm using the Versafine Clair. I have stamped the 2 twigs on the left side with it and it does not stick. And you can see it's super dark. And it's really, I prefer this against all the other 2 inks. And this is really the best image. The StazOn has a little bit of lighter areas and As I said, the Archival Ink does not work well. I will now try the Archival Ink again, and I will dry the stamp before I use it, just to make sure that it was not my fault. But I believe it's the formula of the Versafine Clair that makes that makes the stamp not so sticky, and so the ink can transfer better to the paper. I have never had this problem with rubber because rubber is just not sticky, and there you can use every ink. But here also I dried it and I have a lighter area in the middle. So my go-to ink will be the Versafine for the clear stamps, and I will keep on using a StazOn and Archival with my rubber. I will now stamp some more of the images that I'm going to use later on the text I will do today. And by the way, it's totally normal that clear stamps stain from the ink. That's not a problem. They just look dirty, but they are not dirty if you clean them after using them. And by the way, all the clear stamps are 10% off until March 31st. And on the shop page where the clear stamps are listed is also a list where I share the sets that I plan to release in the future. So in case you're interested in a set, you can check first if it will be available as clear stamps soon, and then you maybe want to wait if you prefer clear stamps. Now I'm going to make the mixed media tags. I am using also the Canson XL watercolor paper, and I've cut the tags with a die from Stamplerations, and I'm using the Neocolor II crayons to create the background. I'm applying a very thick layer of crayon that guarantees that I will get a nice saturated background. I'm also adding in a little bit of white crayon. I feel that it gives me a nice pastel-y look. I'm now going to blend the crayons with a brush and some water. Whenever I have the feeling that my colors are turning muddy, I'm rinsing my brush and then I come back with some fresh water. I will make a second tag while this one is drying. When I get some muddy color that I don't want to have, I just dry the brush with a paper towel and then soak up the color that I don't like. While the backgrounds are drying, I'm going to color in some of the flowers because I want to use those on my tags. For coloring in, I'm also using the Neocolors, so you can see that you don't need many supplies to be creative. I prefer coloring in my images super loose because I don't have the patience to do this very pretty, and usually when I try to make it pretty, it turns out very ugly. I want to talk a little bit about the reason why we have added clear stamps to our range. It's because making rubber stamps takes a lot of time and we just don't have the capacity to make or press so many stamps. The day only has 24 hours and we are a little family with kids, and it's just not possible to make so many. And so we decided to add these clear stamps. And also another reason is that the rubber has become super expensive. I have to calculate it, but we have to increase the prices for all the rubber sets again. Shipping has become very, very high, and also the rubber itself. And we have to import the rubber from the US because there is no other possibility to get vulcanizing rubber. If you want to see more inspiration, what you can do with stamps and all kinds of mixed media stuff, you can go to my Instagram page. There I'm sharing daily new inspirations and little video clips and of course photos. I will let these dry and then come back later to add another layer with the crayons so the images get more depth. And while the flowers are drying, I can come back to my tags to add some texture to the background. I'm going to use stamps from the Mixed Media Marks 1 stamp set for the background, and I'm using inks that are matching the colors I have on the background. And here I'm going with StazOn because it's just to create some background texture. I don't mind if I get perfect stamp impressions. And I also love that the StazOn dries super quick. I will also use the grid stamp. This one I don't want to adhere to an acrylic block because I just want to stamp parts of it, so not the whole image. I think it looks more natural if I just stamp it a little bit into some areas. And finally I will use the ticket stamp. And here I also use StazOn because it dries quick, and as I said, I don't need 100% perfect stamp impression. I also often stamp the image more than just once with one layer of ink, so I get different tonal values. To add even more texture and to give it some highlights, I'm adding some splatters with white acrylic ink. And I have the feeling that it needs some of these mint green also as splatters, and that's what I love about Neocolors. They are opaque, and I just scribble a little bit onto my glass plate, add some water, and make splatters with it. My flowers are dry and I feel they are a little bit boring, so I'm using the crayon directly on top to give them more intensity. I had kind of a little happy accident happening because I used fixative for the new colors, but fixative is alcohol based and it reacts with the stamping ink. But that gave me really intense outlines, which I really liked. But I think the chance to mess it up is really high. I will now cut these out and adhere them to my tags. I'm using just some wet craft glue to adhere the images. I thought I will make some thank you tags that I can put into my design team mail, and I used the words that are also in this set. They are on the Sketchy Flower #2 rubber set, which will not come out as a clear set, but I want to use the words for the gaps that I have on the Sketchy Flower 3, and I will also make the Sketchy Flowers 1 in the future. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I wish you a wonderful weekend. Bye!